So I wanted to welcome everybody to the PopGlitz Glaminati podcast. I am tonight's host, Tygerlily from TygerlilyRocks.com, and tonight we're hosting a special relationship episode. I'm joined by none other than the owner of PopGlitz.com, Mr. JaVonni Brustow, and my pumpkin boo and pop culture extraordinaire, Miss Teonny Spears. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing wonderful. I am totally amped up on coffee right now. So I will get through the evening.
I am good, for the most part. My nose is a little stuffy, but my voice is nasally anyway, so I don't know if anyone can actually tell. I'm drinking Coke out of my Mickey Mouse mug, and I'm sitting here in my pajamas. I'm chilling.
Well, I feel like the man of the group since I'm drinking beer and watching football at the same time.
So you drink beer?
That might be why I'm single right now.
You drink beer?
That might be why you were having technical difficulties. That's beer.
I am a little warm right now, too.
You should be.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that you drank beer.
I do every now and then. I'm actually slow cooking some chicken taco chili, and I'm drinking the rest of the beer that went into the recipe. So.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not an everyday thing, but I do. I don't drink as much as I used to. I used to drink a lot when I was really younger, before I was supposed to be drinking, but that's another story. So, are you guys ready to get into some personal stuff regarding relationships? I know that JaVonni over there is a little guarded with his personal business as far as what he wants people to know about himself.
Well,
I'm ready.
Make it sound like, like I have some type of operation or something going on.
I don't know what kind of little operation you have going on. I mean, it's been about 5 years. It's been about 5 years, and
well, I guarantee it's not an operation. Okay.
By the way, if you want to follow us on Twitter or Instagram, I am at TygerlilyRocks. That's TygerlilyRockz. And you two can give out your Twitter and Instagram names just so people can follow us.
My Twitter and Instagram name is Teonny Spears. No spaces, no underscore, just all together. And it's better to add me on Instagram than anything because for some reason, I don't really tweet like I used to.
Yeah, PR fail.
And yours, Mr. Brustow?
Oh, mine, I am JaVonni Media Mogul. That is on Twitter, Instagram, practically everywhere. I think Facebook, that's JaVonni Media Mogul, but generally it's VONNI Media Mogul, MOGUL.
Okay, and now that we have those pleasantries out of the way, I want to just dive right into this since we're running a little bit behind. I am single, and I know that JaVonni does date every now and then, but like I said, he doesn't like to share his personal information too much. He only talks about work for the most part. And Miss Spears over there is definitely in some type of a long-distance affair. I don't know if it's considered a relationship or not. I don't want to, put too much out there too soon. But I just wanted to, for our first episode on relationships, just talk about why we think we're single, and that might be why are we not married, are we looking to have kids, what it's like for you to, dating, in the LGBT community, like what types, especially if someone has a child and you're dating them. I just wanted to touch on those things. So My first question, I guess, would have to do with that. What is it like to, date in that arena? Is it as hard as it is for heterosexuals? Do you feel like you're dealing with the same struggles right now? JaVonni, I'll start with you.
That's okay. I mean, as far as struggles in dating, I feel that it's the same. I personally don't have any different approach to it than straight dating. I'm a pretty traditional person. I've never done any online dating before. I'm pretty active in the community, and I'm a pretty busy person. I'm out. I attend things. I prefer meeting, in that type of a way. I think as far as maybe challenges in LGBT dating, I have encountered, and again, I would like to stress that I totally object to tonight's topic, because I am, as we said, a pretty personal person. I don't really discuss these things often, but I don't see the challenges as being any different. I think that we all would like to have a person, to be in a good relationship. We all have our different qualifications for a person. I just don't look at it any different. I think the only difference is the sex involved.
Oh my!
I agree.
Well,
gender. I'm sorry.
Have you seen the porn?
The gender involved. I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, I just logged into Facebook, and there's a claymation of a penis, like right in my face. So that just fits right in with what you
come through Facebook.
Ms. Spears, what about you?
For the most part, I agree with Vonnie. I don't think that there's a big difference. As far as the online dating thing goes, I was always one of those people that were like, I'm not going to do the online dating. I think that's for desperate people, and I don't see how people do long-distance relationships. But, when you fall, and you know what? What can you do about it? It was definitely something I wasn't looking for. It definitely went in a pace that it wasn't fast, but it was fast, but it wasn't so fast where it's like a bad thing. It was just different because it's like all you have between you are the computer screen, text messages, and phone conversations. So when you're talking to a person, like constantly talking to a person for hours at a time, you can't help but to start appreciate that person for genuinely who they are as a person, despite what they look like. And I think it's great. With my situation, Mr. Bossman does have a kid, and I don't find it a little difficult. Maybe that's because I haven't actually gotten the chance to interact with the kid yet, but from what I've seen and from what is going on, there's really no issue. I personally like kids. I want one of my own one day, and, I think things are going pretty smooth.
Now, what about Mr. Bossman's baby mama? Because it's clear that he had that child in a opposite sex relationship. So, are you worried about the fact that does he consider himself bi now, or does he consider himself completely gay at this point?
I would think that he would consider himself as sexual, but as far as
is that something that worries you?
It worries me to a certain extent because he's a very handsome guy, and I'm constantly worried at the fact, because a lot of girls and guys, they flirt with him and they throw themselves at him all the time. And, though he doesn't give them any play, in my mind, it's like, what if that one bad bitch just pops up and she is just everything? And I'm like, okay, like, what's going to happen to me? I do get a little, I'm not going to say jealous, but I do get a little worried. Like, well, what if he decides that he wants to be with her over me? And, I can't compete. I can't compete with her. I can't compete with a woman like this. I basically sometimes feel like if that day was to come, I might as well just throw in the towel and lose that battle. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like still I will have too much to worry about, because I know what we have, and I know the type of person that he is. So even if a scenario like that was to come up, we would definitely talk about it and go from there.
Okay.
At least I would hope.
I would hope so, too. I know that you've been talking to Mr. Bossman for a little while now, so I hope that everything works out with it. I myself have been involved in a couple of long-distance relationships. They didn't really work out that great, especially when states were involved. It's different when it's like another city. I did have one that went on for about a year where the person was only like an hour away, and that was pretty much okay, but then he ended up cheating, of course, with someone that lived there, where he's from, and it's just not really my thing. But I will say, over the past 15 years, since the Black Planet days, most of my relationships have been started from online dating. And it wasn't really online dating, I would say, because I wasn't looking for a relationship. It was just maybe something like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter type situations where you can be catfished for sure, but with things like Skype and stuff like that these days, it makes it a little better because you can actually interact with people through video, as well as with now we have FaceTime. So it makes things a lot easier for you to make sure of who you're actually talking to. And I've developed really good friendships with these people. Even after we've, broken things off, we're still great friends because we built that friendship foundation first, and we got to know each other's personalities. My last actual relationship itself, as far as long-term relationship, was with someone that I met off of Black Planet, and the funny thing is he lived down the street from me, and we started off as really good friends, and we were friends for probably about 3 or 4 years before we started dating, and we got engaged. We were together for altogether almost 8 years before we broke things off, and the only reason we broke things off was just due to procrastination, and it was one of the best relationships that I ever had. So I'm all for, meeting people online as long as people are safe with it and they're not expecting the world, but also, you have to kind of keep an open mind to things and also not be naive to certain situations. There's a lot of jealousy that can come about with dating online because most of the time the person's still on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram during the course of the relationship, and you have to deal with somebody sending a DM or, instant message and things like that, or commenting on statuses. I deal with that right now. There's somebody, that I'm interested in, and then I have to worry about other guys commenting on my Facebook statuses and making it look like I'm in a relationship with them, and I may not even know these people, may not be able to even pick them out in a lineup. And so I have to constantly feel like I have to explain myself to this other person because they're watching my, my Facebook interaction. So I feel like that might be a reason why I'm still single at this time, why there's no exclusiveness to the relationships, that I would like to pursue, just because of people thinking that I'm more than what I give myself credit for online. Like, I don't consider myself to be any type of internet celebrity or anything like that. I don't feel that followers equal celebrity status or make you any more of a, better person than somebody else. So I'm dealing with that currently.
Well, I'm not going to say that I don't consider myself as an internet celebrity, but I do have a nice following. And, I play along to that for a little bit. I'm not going to say that, I'm this big, major internet celebrity, like the YouTubers and stuff, but I do have a nice collective amount of people who support me and, who follow me with every move I make, and it's been that way for almost 4 years, so... that makes me feel like I'm a little famous or a little bit, so I just take it as it is.
Now, Teon, as far as I see, internet fame and, I don't know, social media and people popping up in others' DMs, a lot of people say that social media can ruin relationships, and I do not believe that. I mean, you ruin relationships yourself. I think that the remarks and comments from others shouldn't make a difference. What happens on the internet, what comments that are made by people that you likely do not even know, they play. I mean, I don't take any of that into consideration in a relationship. As far as one being more popular than the other, the same thing. I'm not worried about people, sending private messages. I think that when in a relationship or dating or potentially dating someone, I'm pretty confident in myself and confident in, my own capabilities. People are going to say things and they're going to write messages regardless. In my last relationship, I was the more popular out of the both of us, and I do feel that because of community work or just whatever, that one's reputation is important, and not taking social media into account here, but while I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing, and I specialize in communication, I had to give some lessons to my significant other to say that, okay, can you not mention, if we're having trouble, can you not mention it or complain about it on social media? I'm not asking you to keep any secrets or to play any type of a role, but, again, and this is just like media training, the world doesn't need to know it. And there are just certain things that are ready for public consumption and certain things that are not. In other words, let's just keep our business out of the street. So that's my only issue having social media.
JaVonni, you put your fat ass in my jeans again. Like, some things I feel like don't need to be, some things don't need to be tweeted out. I think that a lot of things are tweeted or put in statuses just to get the attention of other people. I see people all the time talking about their relationship, but they're really they're having a conversation with their significant other on Facebook. And I'm like, aren't you in the same damn room? Like, why are we a part of this conversation right now? It's all for show, I think, a lot of times, so people can feel secure within their, their title.
And showing off.
Yep, showing off. And I was talking to someone for a whole year last year. We weren't in a relationship, but I was consistent with this one person, and they meant a lot to me. But nobody outside of close friends that I talked to or family members knew anything about this person. And they, they say things on my Facebook, and I might say things on there. It's like we understand this type thing. It doesn't have to be everybody else in our situation, because I feel like when everybody else gets in, that's when relationships crumble, when you're involving the world in it.
You do have to be careful once you make something public, because people have their motives, and there will be people who will attempt to sabotage a relationship. I knew that business-wise, I had a lot of things going on, and I was already dealing with criticism early on in my last relationship, and then I had a moment where I decided to bring him to a Christmas party. And it was from that moment on that it all started, from people saying, oh, I saw him at such and such place, I saw him at the movies, and they're tweeting these things to me because I guess my largest social media following would be on Twitter, and part of it is I would just ask myself, was that necessary? Like, I spy with my little eye Vonnie's boo on the subway or Vonnie's boo at the movies. And just little things like that. And all of these stories and all this foolishness started, again, from that moment on. But I think that when you discuss your significant other on social media, a mention here or there is fine. And it's kind of cute. Like, I love seeing celebrities when they might send their spouse that one little message or that little cute photo. But to be having full-on conversations back and forth, that's kind of puke-worthy.
Definitely puke-worthy.
I don't, see, I'm one of those people.
Inspiration is key.
That, that takes it to Facebook, but that's only because, well, personally, I'm in a long-distance relationship, and when we get mad at each other, we don't, it's like any other relationship. Like, we don't want to talk to each other. And, when I'm trying to say something, or when I want to say, okay, well, this is how I'm really feeling, I calm down a little bit, my phone calls may not get answered, and, my messages may not get responded to, but, I'll see him on Facebook, saying something, about the situation that's slick, and I'm like, okay, well, since you're going to say that, I'm going to say this because, and it's not that I'm doing it to let other people know that we're having issues in our relationship. I'm doing it because basically right now this is the only way that we're going to communicate with each other because you're being too stubborn to answer the phone and you're being too stubborn to respond to me anywhere else. But at the same time, I try not to take it so far where we just start this gigantic war. Usually I'll just type like one sentence or a song lyric, and I'll call it a day. And, eventually we'll go from there. We don't really fight a lot, honestly. And usually when we do, that's when I don't take it to Facebook. But, like, if it's something stupid or petty and I'm just like, okay, well, you did this, so why are you upset? I don't address him or I don't tag him in anything. Granted, I could be talking about anybody, but that person knows exactly who it's for.
Yes, they always do.
I did it yesterday. I don't think it's an issue if it's not to the level where it's doing too much. I mean, social media is made for us to express ourselves and, say how we feel. And granted, there are a lot of people on there who have other agendas, but for the most part, there are, people that genuinely care about you and people that, you may not want to call them and say this, but you'll see them online, so you just post the status hoping that, they'll see it or something. I would think. I mean, that's just me.
Oh, Teon,
no.
I just wanted to add in, I'm sorry, about, I don't know, the fighting over social media. As we know, that's something I am strongly against. My biggest thing is that we all know that I'm a workaholic. I have a lot of irons in the fire. I have this show I'm working on, another. I have multiple sites that I, of my own, as well as me contributing elsewhere, whatever, community work, etc. Personally, I would like I always say that I would like to be known for my work and for what I'm doing, and not for my relationship. There are some people, and some of which I know, that no one knows what they do, but everyone knows that they're in a relationship or have some secret benefactor or something like that. That's never been it's never been a desire of mine. As far as dating issues, every now and then I might have a situation of some people might think that it is that they think that asking to take care of someone or suggesting that they can is some type of a turn on, and that is absolutely not the case.
Oh my God, yes.
At least for myself. I mean, that's something that I will quickly run away from. I don't need my dinner paid for. I don't need any. Or I am perfectly fine. I'm a self-made person, and I'm going to keep it that way. Whatever relationship that I embark on, it will be, something mutual, and I will save that for others.
Well,
I really like what you just said with that. I feel like I'm working on myself. I'm a self-made person. My mom didn't raise me to look up to take money from anyone. It's okay to get gifts and things like that, but to actually live off of someone, I could never be a housewife. I mean, I may try to be a stay-at-home mom for a brief moment once I do have children, but I like working. I like making my own living. And so to have someone come in right off the bat, which I did just like a few months ago, have someone come in like, I'll take care of you, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I don't need that. I'm not that type of girl. I can do for myself. And when somebody starts doing that for you right off the bat, that's a red flag. That person's trying to move you in within 1 month of you even just being friends. Like, you're not even dating this person. And they're already talking about you moving in and stuff like that. That's some scary stuff. When you really sit there and think about that, that person is lonely to an extent that they're just trying to bring anybody in their household. But then,
controlling.
They could be trying to control you. Like, that's a control tactic. I'm going to be feeding you. I'm going to have you in my house. Basically, you're in a prison that you may, in some cases, may not, because we've seen people go into a relationship and never come out of the house for 20 years. Then they end up on a TV show talking about how they were a slave to their husband. So I'm not trying to be that girl. That was Sally Jesse Raphael. That was way back in the day, honey.
Who?
People was coming out.
Sally.
Yeah. So listen, I don't want any man that's trying to control me. It should be a mutual thing, 50-50. I mean, there's definitely times where I want to receive flowers, where I want you to, do things. I'm going to let a man be a man. That's one thing. I'm not going to be like I'm the man of the relationship, but I don't want it to be a point where he can come back later and say, well, I did this for you. You owe me. You know what I mean? It should be a two-way street. We do for each other. And that was the one thing that I really enjoyed about my last relationship is that, we bought each other all kinds of, expensive gifts. It would be just for the hell of it. It wouldn't be – I never wanted for anything, and he didn't have to ever want for anything. He had money or whatever, and he took care of me, but at the end of the day, he still allowed me to do for him, And we just really enjoyed that aspect of shopping together and helping each other with clothes, like picking out clothes and stuff like that. That's what a relationship is about is, give and take, not take, or me trying to control you. I don't want a man like that.
Right. And, I'm actually glad that you guys brought that up, too, because what my issue is, what it was, and kind of still is with Mr. Bossman, is that we both have that personality where we both want to take the lead. And as you know, in a relationship, there's quote unquote only one to lead. But I believe in if we're in a relationship and we're together, we can both take the lead together. We could do both of all of this together as a partnership, because that's what a relationship is. It's also a partnership. You're in it together. However, at a certain point during the week, one of us get the little big head and feel like, oh, well, it's me, instead of us. And granted, for me, I'm not going to lie, most of the time it's me because I'm used to having this and having that for myself and doing this and doing that for myself. Like I'm, saying like, oh, I'm going to get you this, I'm going to get you that, and I'm like, well, I don't really need you to do that. I can do it myself. Even if it's just something simple like a phone case. Oh, I want to get you this phone case. You don't need to do that. I can buy it myself. I want to call it a power struggle, but at the same time, I just want to say that with the both of us, being that we're both strong-minded and things like that, that's kind of sort of the driving point behind a lot of our arguments. Right now, what we have to learn to do, the both of us, is just basically find that common ground where both of us can meet. But that's the issue too, because I don't like the ground that he that he chooses. But anyway, moving on.
Okay. Well, what I want to go into next is what we look for in a partner, in a relationship. And we basically explained what we want in the relationship is things to be equal and, you do for me, I do for you. But what are, some other things that you may look for in your mate? And it doesn't have to be with your current. What's some things that you feel are, I would say, your top 3 things, just to keep it brief. What are your top 3 things that you look for in a relationship or in your mate?
Let's see, Tiger. My top 3 things, I am an adult. I am 28 years old. I was engaged for a couple years. We had lived together for that time period as well. And I think that we dated all together about 4 years. And I consider that my only significant long-term relationship. I would like to be married. I think that I was supposed to. The original wedding was planned for, I think it was 2011, so that was 3 years ago. I was going to be married at 25. Feel a little overdue. That's one. I would like someone established. I've always, I've always generally been into older guys because of a maturity level. I know that we say age doesn't always come with maturity. That's definitely true. I have encountered that. But just, I don't know, a little more settled, a little, I like some common sense. I don't want any children, or as far as the significant other being a child. And for a third, oh my gosh, I would like someone to support what I'm doing. That was the issue that I had with my significant other. I had taken a break from media work and being involved in the music industry, and by the time I wanted to go back into it, this person was anti-mainstream. They hated everything mainstream, and unfortunately, that's what I do. Like, I write about I write about mainstream. I cover and discuss mainstream topics. How am I supposed to be with someone who hates my career choice? And that was a huge argument because I wasn't in that field when we were first together, and about halfway through, he hates my career. So there's no way that can work. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a workaholic, and that's just something that, we will have to contend with. You don't like it, I don't know. Help change the circumstances. But that's how it is for now.
I definitely agree with the support thing. That was one of the things that started crumbling when at the end of my engagement was I was doing all these things within media. I was working with you too, actually, And I wasn't able to share that experience. I'm able to share it now that we're friends, he and I, but when we were in the relationship, he made me feel like he was jealous of the situation. And part of that was because we were working with another guy who was heterosexual. So, of course, thinking like, oh, my God, like this is her new boo or whatever. And, I don't want no parts of it. But one of the things that I really like in a guy, I love to laugh. Like, I laugh all day. I find humor in things that I probably should not. But I need somebody with that same type of thing. I don't really go for looks. It's a plus, in my opinion. Looks are a plus. But I've been known to date guys that weren't like a 10 or maybe not even be considered a 6 on some people's scale. But their personality and their humor is what pulled me in. Somebody that doesn't take themselves too seriously. I don't want a suit and tie. That's not the type of guy that I'm into. So I want somebody that, is able to make jokes and laugh at, typically the same type of things that I laugh at. I have a morbid sense of humor, so things like that.
Share that. Our show last week, our pre-show rather, all of that
the pre-show.
Laughing, I had to edit out today.
Yes, so it has to be somebody that can kind of understand that and not be like, this bitch is crazy. But anyway.
Let me add something
Caillou came on yesterday when I was at Pizza Hut, and my best friend goes, Caillou is on, and I just started laughing. And they're like, what is so funny? I said, y'all will never understand how funny Caillou will be.
By the way,
for
listeners,
me for the rest of my life.
If you want to know what our inappropriate laughing was about, just Google
Don't
this.
tell them that.
No, just Google Caillou. I'm not. That's it. I'm not going to say
Let's get off of Caillou, okay?
Please.
Also, I do believe in God. I grew up Christian Baptist, but I do not, I don't consider myself a Baptist anymore. I don't really have a denomination. I've become more spiritual, the older that I get. I accept other people's views and beliefs as long as they're good views and beliefs. I don't worship the devil. I'm not with any type of Illuminati type stuff. Like, keep that away from me. But, I would rather someone be spiritual, someone that's in touch with the, the good in people and wanting things to be better. But I definitely do believe in Christ. It's, like I said, I don't want somebody to be like, oh, I'm not a Christian. If they're a Muslim or something like that, I'm not going to be like, I can't date you. I'm not that type of a girl. It's based off of what type of person you are. So that's, as long as you believe in, the greater good of other people, you're a caring person, those are, part of the things that I look for. Finances, I feel like I make good money, and I'd want someone that's at least working. He doesn't have to make more money than me, but able to contribute, and if he's not able to contribute, he needs to be working on it. So if he got laid off or something, you need to be actively seeking employment. I can't have somebody just sitting around playing video games all day. You have to grow up and, be an adult. So it's not about you need to make 6 figures, because money doesn't buy happiness. But we need to be able to be, pay our bills and things like that because, let's face it, a lot of divorces, they start out because of money issues and, people being unhappy with that. And that's just something that I'm, not trying to deal with. Which brings me to some statistics that I pulled up from the American Psychological Association. It says that more than 90% of people marry by the age of 50, and this is in Western cultures. And within those, 90% of people, 40 to 50% of those couples divorce in the U.S. And I feel that it has to do with finances, amongst other things, people being unhappy. But I think the number one reason is financial, issues. So with that being said, Miss Spears, what do you look for?
Honestly, I don't look for much. All I ask my dreams and goals go, so that you care, and like little gestures. I love roses. I love roses, and people think that I am so hard to please. I am not a hard person to please at all. You could bring me something like, I don't know, a quarter, and just be like, I saw this on the ground and thought about something you would say if you saw it. Like, that would make my day. Just simple things. I'm not going to say that I want someone who's established, because, I'm only 24, and, I'm trying to be established myself, but I don't want someone who isn't doing anything at all, like you stated, Tiger, someone who's working. It's not about how much you make, but it's about the fact that you're doing something. Like, don't just sit there and not be goal-oriented at all, and not just be like, I don't want to do anything, And I, too, like to laugh and have fun. As you guys know, I'm a big kid at heart. I love my Disney. I love my Mickey Mouse. I'm not going to say that, you have to love Disney or you have to love Mickey Mouse, but if it's hot outside, or, we're sitting at home and we're doing nothing, like, go to Target, buy some water guns, let's chase each other around. Let's have a family game night or something. Let's go egg someone's house. Or
Ever.
I don't
you
know.
were not kidding.
I mean, but just stuff like that. Like, that's all I look for. I don't really ask for too much in anything. That's it.
I like a little fun, but if I came home and the significant other was watching Disney, I'd probably kill them.
I mean, I'm not saying that you have to watch Disney. I'm just saying, like, for me, like, I love Disney movies. I've always loved Disney movies.
I need to wind down a little bit, because I can be pretty high strung. People around me, they're like, you need to take a vacation, something will be said about me, and I'll hear it, and our friends are like, okay, you need to get away, don't don't respond. But even though I need to relax a little bit, Disney's just a little too much.
Disney would never
I love
be too
Disney.
much, okay? If we can sit down and Pocahontas comes on and we say it word for word, gosh darn it, that is a soulmate. However, my boo doesn't do that because he hates Disney and cartoons and things like that. But
he
it's
doesn't
okay.
look like the type that's singing The Colors of the Wind or anything.
He doesn't like stuff like that. However, he does like to have fun. Like, we really enjoy each other's company. I will say that. Girl, I can't even get him to watch Gone with the Wind. Like, it's just, he doesn't really, if it's not a movie like Scarface, which I have yet to see, believe it or not, then, it's nothing.
And that's my kind of movie.
I see. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should hook you two up.
Listen, I have my own relationship stuff I'm trying to work on. I can't be stealing somebody else.
Maybe I should get you two together. You're around the same age, Oh, also, I like older guys, too. He's actually quite younger than the other people I would date, but I like him up there. Like, my ex, one of my exes is 45, so, like, that.
Oh, my God.
And I was
5 years younger than my parents.
Oh, wow. See, and I was, like, 19 at the time, so, like, I love an older guy.
I actually like, because I want to be a mom again, I want to be able to get pregnant and have a child. But I'm dealing with some, personal female issues that are, complicating things. So if I cannot have a child, I like to see guys that have kids and how they interact with them. I definitely think it's a turn on when guys spend time with their children on a regular basis, and they actually enjoy it, and it's not a chore, and it's just something that they're looking forward to. I've never been the type of girl that says, I don't want a man that has kids. Now, if it's like a lot of kids, like 8, 6, like that's a little questionable to me, but, a few kids. There's really a lot of guys out there that do have children now, so it's kind of a hard thing to avoid.
I draw the line at 3.
But I love kids. I like doing stuff with kids. So if a guy does have a child, it's definitely not a deal breaker. I would enjoy being a stepmother. Hopefully they would enjoy me being their stepmother and not, be crazy or anything or try to do something to hurt me. But anyway, I'm definitely, turned on by guys that are family men and, want to have a family. And we already know that JaVonni does not want to have children. He already stated that. So,
hey, I've actually had a change in tune recently. I used to joke for years about not wanting children. Again, I'm very business oriented, etc. But at some point in time, you do actually have, you have to live life, embrace life, and I think that I've kind of settled down a little bit more lately. As I said, I've expressed wanting to be married again. And, I would look at children as like an 18 to 20-year commitment and would think about the money that would go into it. And I've just decided to break that tunnel vision. And I think that I would actually be interested in having a child. It's amazing that I am just now thinking of that. I moved to my own when I was 19 years old, and I remember working like 3 jobs. I think it was 19 or 20, and I had a neighbor who would offer me money to babysit her infant, and I said no. I said, absolutely not. You can't even pay me to do that because I am not changing diapers. And I meant it. To this day, I've still not done it. I think the day that I decide to do so will be when I have my own kid, but I'm open to it.
Can you picture
I would have to really
sending his kids to school in a suit on the first day, telling them this is how you have to present yourself, let them know you literally need this. And can you picture the kids saying, but we're only in kindergarten? But, still.
Yeah, our kid would probably push Vonnie's kid off of the swing.
My kid would be so mean. However, he would. My kid
off the swings. I'll be there for backup.
My kid would be mean, but my kid would be a sweetheart at the same time. Like, he'll do it just to laugh, but he'll help Vonnie's kid up. Then come home and tell me, I pushed this kid today, but I helped him up. And I'm like, but who's the parent? Somebody named Bonnie.
We fall down and we get up.
I'm very opinionated on how people raise children, and I think that I've been that way for so long. I said, you know what, maybe you should have your own. Have your own little have your own little experiment.
Make it happen.
Yes.
Well, guys, we have about 3 minutes left. This is something that we definitely want to try to do again as far as the relationship topic, maybe once a month. So you can definitely send us messages on Twitter and Facebook with any type of suggestions that you may have, what you liked or didn't like. But definitely follow up with us weekly. We will be having other podcasts. They just won't be about relationships. Only once a month we'll try to do that. I don't want to be too depressed about my current situation. But this definitely wraps up another fabulous episode of the Glaminati. Be on the lookout for part 2. Anything else that you guys have to say? I want to thank you for a great show.
Oh, thank you for having us. I was so glad to be here, as always. I don't have anything to say.
Are you going to apologize for holding me hostage during this topic?
No, there's more to come, so get used to that.
I met my brother, my oldest brother, for the first time on Christmas, which was really interesting because I found him on Facebook 2 weeks ago. So that was a very nice present that I received over Christmas. But anyway, just thought I'd share that with you guys since you're important.
Well, wishing everyone a happy New Year coming up this week. The link to check us out, once again, is blogtalkradio.com/Vonnie Media Mogul, and that's VonnieMediamogul. I am Tygerlily Rock, and you've been listening to to JaVonni Brustow and Teonny Spears.